Kids and cadets, welcome back to Tommy Time. Appreciate you coming out. We had shown you this hyper crap in a previous video. We've got one oddball wheel and one of the attachment points here for the handle is screwed up. We got a deck screw and a close hanger wire wrapping that thing around. So the deal with this thing is the recoil string was sprung on this thing. So it's been blistering hot this this month here in Southwest Florida. No rain for 4 weeks. Sales have taken a tumble. I did 2 yesterday, 1 today, and maybe I'll have 1 come out in a little while. Somebody showed interest. They want to come out after dark and look at a standard pusher. So I'm thinking, being it blistering hot, I know I don't irrigate the lawn. Maybe a lot of people don't, unless you're in a deed restricted community. You have to keep a green lawn, or the homeowners association will fine you. So if you're the typical or normal Harvey the homeowner in a regular neighborhood, your grass isn't going to be producing a lot of growth right now. It's brown and stunted like mine is. My water bill was $50 more last night. I said I don't irrigate, but I had to irrigate the shrubs. I have a lot of money invested in my shrubbery, and that was starting to wilt. I've got to keep that alive. If that all dies off, it'd be thousands of dollars at the nursery to replace that shrubbery. So we'll discuss this power crap right now after I take a swig of Kirkland purified water, just trying to stay hydrated. So this is a 2020, if I haven't mentioned that. I've taken this thing apart already. There we go. It's right here. Amerisun Inc. 2020 production date. Looks like February, March, April, May of 2020. So, like I said, extremely hot. I wasn't really motivated the last couple days to do anything, and I know you guys probably aren't when it's this hot. You just want to stay in the air conditioning. I figured I got to get one project going, so I decided to mess with this. So took off the recoil about 20 minutes ago. The string was already pulled out all the way to the max. 10 millimeter here. I went and started loosening this up, thinking this spring had sprung. I was going to wrap the spring, and just loosening up the 10 millimeter. The spring actually sprung back. I thought, oh wow, that's unusual. So I don't know if something got caught up or if it was too tight, but me loosening it, the whole thing recoiled on its own. So I was happy about that. I didn't have to continue removing this. So I tightened it down a little bit, oiled the snot out of it. We're going to put this back. I don't know if it, this is a running machine, but this thing's all screwed up. The plastic here broke. I showed you that in the first video. That plastic split. So I had picked this up from a scrap or find. Same model, same style, front sections the same. So what I may do, if this thing starts here, this 170cc, I may just shift it over to this. Somebody's torn this engine down. They kept all the major parts off of it. No carburetor. They stole that. They stole the recoil, no coil. The back plastic here is still in decent shape. This is just a shitty design here. One pin here with one bolt. This thing moves up and down. So let's see what we can do with this thing. Before I put the recoil on, the tank actually rests here on the recoil. I'm going to dump this gas out and see what's in the gas. I've got a semi-clean container here. We're going to dump it in here and see if there's any water in that gas and add fresh gas. So maybe I can do that without removing the hose, the fuel line. So, like I said, kind of unmotivated the last couple days. I hope we get rain so my sales pick up, or maybe this is a midsummer slump. I don't know. So there was a little bit of debris in here. I'm going to just remove the hose clamp and remove the tank, maybe blow it out. I also may take a 10 millimeter open end and just drain the bowl. If there's any water in the bowl, it'll give us a head start. I'm thinking once the recoil malfunctioned, they gave up on it. They Mickey Mouse the handle, trying to extend the life of this piece of shit, and they probably just had enough. They called it quits. Okay. Just trying to see if I can see any water. Yeah. This thing maybe 90% gas. There's about 10% water in this thing, it looks like. I see a layer there at the bottom. So it would be prudent to drain the bowl. So I've got confidence this thing will start. Let me get a 10 open end, and then we're going to discuss the coil. So you guys have commented that it's been extremely hot where you're located. You've kind of been working half days just due to the heat, and I'm totally with you on that. For us here in Florida, it's like you guys up in Indiana, Wisconsin in January when you got freezing weather, you stay inside. Down here for us, this is the time when you're staying inside. Okay, I'm just going to take the drain off, not the bottom nut, the side nut, the drain nut. Okay, a lot of fuel poured out of there. I don't know if it was watery. I got a rag here to collect it. Well, hell, let's just take the whole bowl off. That way we can use compressed air to blow it out if we have to. Plus that side drain doesn't get the very bottom of the bowl. A little more liquid just poured out of there. Oh wow, pretty clean. I don't see any water droplets. This thing is in good shape. I'm just gonna put it back on. So here's your side drain right there. So once it drains out, you're still going to have a little bit of liquid or water in the very bottom there. That's not going to make it out of the drain hole. Sorry, just kicked you. So on these coils, I've got 3 of these power craps. Oh, I see what the issue is right away, or not right away. Just noticing this, the 4 teeth on the cup are all sheared off for some reason. If you can see that, just glanced up there and noticed the 4 teeth are gone. That one's bent over, these are missing. Should look like something like this. So I'm going to have to steal this recoil cap and switch it over. Maybe we can do that on camera. I got to figure out what size socket that is. So that might take me longer. I didn't anticipate this. So maybe that had something to do with the recoil binding up. Not sure. So I'm going to face the drain plug forward here. That's how this goes. So the next unqualified technician can drain it from the front without removing a bunch of stuff to get access to the drain. Just looking out for my future technicians that might be working on this power junk. Okay, so I'll try to make tracks with this socket, figure out what it is, and go from there. I was hoping we could have just threw this thing together, but no, it's never easy. It's never how you want it to be. Okay, so what is this, 11/16? Nope. What else do we got? Nope. Maybe 17 or 19 millimeter. Oh, 3/4. They copied Briggs and Stratton. So I've got a breaker bar. Maybe we could do this. I've got to throw a block under there, under the blade. That's going to be my hold down point, because there's nothing really here to secure the flywheel from moving. This is just going to spin. I can't put any bars in here. This is just plastic. I'll break off those bars. I got to get a block of wood, jam it under the deck somewhere so the blade hits it. Sorry, this is turning into a fiasco. I didn't know it was fiasco time. So once we get this thing to start, I'm going to take the coil off and go to those 3 other machines I have, because all 3 of them I had no spark. I'm like, what the hell? is going on here. So do you guys have an issue with these power crap coils going bad? It seemed like the 3 shit boxes I got in a row, none of them produced spark. And so I got them sitting in my junk pile. So I'm going to use this as my test coil if it starts. Go to each of those machines and see if they fire off. Okay, here we go. We got it. Well, that wasn't bad. I got the block under there wedged in. Something like this. Don't know how this happened. Piece of shit. I shouldn't say that. This is a family channel. Okay, I'm going to blow that off with some compressed air. Go to this other shit box and steal the recoil. Luckily, they left that behind, ironically. I guess they didn't need it. This one still has the blade on it. So if I ever needed a blade, I can use this one. I just put a block of wood in here, jammed it through the trap door. It's holding nicely. They really don't torque these things down a lot. My grandmother could have popped this thing off. Okay, let me shift you back over. This didn't take as long as I thought it would. We're moving along. So ironically, I bought 2 of these pushers in a box and 2 self-propelled in a box. New machines, power craps. They were unbelievably cheap. I thought, what the hell? So I got to put those together. I've got a couple of Remingtons that I've put together, and the other blue machine there, the Cenex, I think it is. Cenex brand. So I think these Powersmarts, if you're somewhat handy and you can change the oil and kind of baby these things along, you're okay. If you're Harvey the homeowner, these things don't take abuse, basically, like a Briggs and Stratton would. If you can't tinker with this piece of shit, then you're going to get 3 to 4 years out of it. But they're so cheap, it's still cost effective, considering what you would pay for lawn service. I think 80 on up for lawn service. I don't know. I don't have one, but I've heard people say that's a typical rate. And then you pay more for if they trim shrubs and all that stuff is added extras. But if they just cut the grass and leave without edging and blowing, I think you can get it for less than 80. Don't quote me on that. So if you have one of these crappy machines last you a couple years, you're still ahead of the game. Okay. So I kind of had to remove the one side of this muffler guard to get one bolt out. These are 5/16 like the recoil screws on a Briggs and Stratton. Okay, why isn't this doing anything? Don't want to pinch my coil wire. So haven't heard from any of the scrappers in a while. They're probably hurting as well. People stay inside. They're not cleaning up their yard or doing jobs. So I think the scrappers are probably hurting as well. It's too damn hot to be outside. There's no spring cleaning going on now. Like I said, everybody's hunkered down. So I think this thing will start with fresh gas. I just got to prop up the front end. I think the blade might hit the concrete because this is cracked. They really make it difficult here to reach these two front ones. This is behind the breather tube, this front one, and this one I had to remove the metal grate for the muffler to make it work. So let me finish this one up. Since I'm gonna steal this coil, I'm just gonna let this muffler guard hang with one screw in it, because this is coming off again. This is just show and tell. Okay, let me click the tank back into place. I didn't flush it out, but I think we're good. Okay. I don't think I'm going to put the cover on. You know it's a 170cc power crap. Okay. All I got to do is put the fuel line on. I'll put a little bit of fuel in the tank, and then we'll try this thing. Remove the block of wood so I don't beat myself up that I was a dummy for leaving the block of wood under there. Okay, I did remove the block already. I'm just trying to see if the blade's going to hit. Let me check that out. We may just go forward with this. Pull the safety brake back. I think we can clear. It just seems like it's got a little bit of back pressure as far as kickback. Yeah, something's off. Something's off. I can't pull this thing without it kicking back. Let's turn it over and look at the blade. Yeah, it just ripped out of my hands. If they hit something, it wouldn't have done anything here. It would have destroyed the keyway. I don't know what this is all about, but let's look at the blade after I take a drink. So this thing might be a piece of shit. With the wheels flopping forward like they had, this thing was hitting curbs and manhole covers, most likely. Being a couple inches away from the ground, they hit something. They would have had to tilt back the back wheels and mode. If they let the front wheels down, they could hit anything in the grass, and the blade might have ran into a rock. So that's kind of a pisser that I went to all this work. I was down to the flywheel. If I would have known, I could have carried on from that point. Just looking at this one. This one's fine. So I don't know why this one crapped out. Why there was no compression, but it feels like no compression. Could be because the plug's missing. That's why. And the carburetor. Okay, let's turn this over. So basically, this was a dud video. I didn't show you shit. We're at the same mark. It's not twisted off the keepers, and the blade doesn't look too bad. It is got a bunch of nicks in it that were hitting something. Really deep nicks. Maybe they were off-roading with it. This one here is got a big chip taken out of the end right there. Big chip missing. Some more dings right in this area. So what are we gonna think about now? We're gonna think about valves. If the valves are tight valves would give me that spring back. So I don't know if I've ever had one of these hyper crap valve covers off. Why don't we just go for it and look around? I'll treat it like a Briggs as far as pulling the plug, going the top dead center here with a screwdriver. I'm going to remove the cap. Let's look at it. We're delving into new territory here. I'll use the same tolerances as I would a Briggs & Stratton 500E. What I should probably do is open up one of the boxes I have for the Turds I bought and look at the specs for the 170cc engine. They probably have valve lash there in the paperwork. It just seems when I try to look up hyper tough with a junction or one of these, I find it hard to find parts. Like this filter cover, I stole it off of another junk machine I bought for another mower. I was just waiting and waiting because I didn't want to spend a small fortune. Oh, we got a little piece of plastic that came off of the recoil. Then we got the torch brand, which is the China brand, but the air gaps filled up here with something. Some oily carbon buildup. Here, I just knocked the air gap open, but it was filled with something. So that wouldn't have been good. Now with the plug out, I'm just going to pull on this thing. See anything come out of the spark plug hole? Not really, so let's continue on. .5/16 on these. Sorry, my big head's in the way. Hopefully this has got a gasket and not Permatex. Put a rag down here in case it leaks oil. I'll try to move along with this thing. We can try to see if the valves are tight. So I'm sure they use the same specs. A lot of their stuff is copycat from other major manufacturers. Okay. Throw this under here. Okay, there we go. It's Permatex. So this looks like a Honda setup. Wow, loose, but we don't know yet till we're at top dead center, but wow. This looks like Honda copycat. Okay, let me get a screwdriver, anything just to stick in there. Stick in the hole. Find TDC. I got to put a clip on the handle. Things aren't moving along easily. Okay. I'm going to reach under and do the blade instead of the recoil. This is a little more accurate. I can control it better than the recoil. Wow. So I figured they'd be tight and not loose, but these things are really, really loose. Or maybe that's it right there. Maybe this is TDC. Okay, that feels like it's it. So what's that? Exhaust down below the bottom one. And that's tight on exhaust. There's no gap whatsoever. The intake's got a gap. I can kind of feel a little indentation right there, and that's TDC, I believe, and we're tight on the exhaust. Intake's kind of loose, and it's got a funky, really small keeper nut here. It's probably a special tool, a hyper tough deal. It's a square head. I'm just trying to figure out what size this is for the nut. Let's grab that. Whatever it is, I'm going to try 7 or 8 millimeter. I don't think it's a 10. Could be a 9. Okay, I got a 9. 9 will work. So what are we going to do? We're going to loosen both of these up. Maybe I could do it with my hand. I can just adjust this and then tighten it down with the 9. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get my feeler gauge. Okay. I'm running this show by the seat of my pants because I don't know how to do it any other way. Okay. I'm going to do it what I do with the Briggs. Okay. 0.152 millimeter or 6 thousandths is what I'm going to use. That's what I do with the Briggs, the overhead valves. I do both intake and exhaust. So I'm just going to finger tighten it here until I get snug. And then where's my socket? I'm going to start over again. That's too loose. A little loose. I'm going to try it one more time. Okay, that's good. That's got a better drag on it, it feels like. I'm going to go with that. Okay, well, we'll see. So I'll just pull on this thing and just make sure everything's free and clear. Okay, I'm going to put it back on. With no new Permatex, I'm just going to slap this thing on real quick. This is just a quickie quick. They were real skimpy on the Permatex on the cover here. They probably get graded how much they use. If they use too much, they get docked. No, I don't really know. I just know factory production like that is pretty well monitored. So many seconds to put on a nut and bolt. So we just might have wasted a bunch of time on this crappy Powersmart. But it was good to break one open here and see what the valve train resembles a Honda to me. So they copied the best. Okay, what do we got here? Hope I didn't put you to sleep. Okay, so we put this thing back together. We'll fuel it. That's full of oil. Grab the plug. this torch. The F5 RTC. So I would think valve adjustments on these might be critical. I used to mess with Chinese scooters, and those were all manually adjustable. So you'd get a couple thousand miles on them, the valves would tighten up and they wouldn't run, and people would dump them. And a lot of times it was valve adjustment issues. So people that buy those cheap things aren't about to adjust valves. So okay, that's on. Let's see if it made a difference in pulling it over. And is the block out? Yeah, I think the block's out. I should have looked. It just feels like it's off. I hate to do this to you. I'm just going to pull this recoil off. Sorry. And just check the keyway. Boy, what a pain in the ass this thing has been. I'm not going to hold you up anymore. I'm just going to remove that plastic recoil thing, and then check the keyway like I showed you on that other power crap, the one that's torn down to nothing. Ah, boy. Okay. Put a block of wood under here. 3/4 inch. Okay. Boy, I had tightened it down more than the factory did. Okay. I don't even see the keyway in here. I should have looked. That's kind of weird. Did it fall through or disintegrate? You just see the black hole there. Maybe it sheared off. I see a little piece of it, but it should show itself. Well, I guess not. This one doesn't show either. I thought it would take up the whole notch. This one isn't. So maybe there's nothing wrong with this one. I don't have my 3-pound sledge nearby. I don't think. Yeah, I don't know where my 3-pound sledge is. Otherwise, I would have knocked this off and we could have looked. And it's almost been an hour. I'm going to call this off. Sorry, kids and cadets. I drag you down the rabbit hole on this power crap. Sorry about that. If I come up with anything, I'll let you know, but I'm going to pop this flywheel and see if anything looks abnormal. It looked like the adjustment was okay after I did it, so I don't know what the hell's wrong with this piece of crap. I just spent an hour here doing nothing. Have a good day. Tip your waitress and wait staff. Appreciate you coming out. Sorry. Have a good one.